Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Welcome. This is the Sports Chat Podcast. You know what this is. Finally, the Sports Chat Podcast has come back to the people. Yes, you heard that right. Finally, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We've been trying to get through this COVID era as well as we have tried to get by this and bring this show back to the people. Like I said at the beginning, Khoa on the ones and twos. One man off the screen that's usually here is not here today. Christopher C. Rodriguez. How you doing, sir? Oh, again, sorry, he could not be here today. No, I'm just ripping him. So, ladies and gentlemen, Khoa, Mr. John Trapp, the one and only, in the flesh. Like I said, we've been trying to get through this COVID era as well as we can, and finally, we've kind of got a system in place. So, I got tested, Khoa got tested. We're good. Don't touch me, bro.
Stay positive. I mean,
6 feet.
Negative, but positive attitude, negative for COVID.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Hey, but on the good note, we are finally getting the vaccine rolled out. So,
oh, you gonna take it? Yeah, right. Go ahead. You gonna be that first round?
Honestly,
you gonna be that first round? You can't get that first round.
I don't
anyway.
think.
You high risk? I mean, I got a high risk of catching something from being this close to you.
I'm high risk. I'm important risk, right?
Oh, come on.
Right.
That's not a thing.
It is for me.
No.
Anyways, but I gotta see these trial runs go first. I gotta see how this works out. You know, I saw this one meme. It's that first woman that took it, and then they memed her into the old lady that starts walking on the ceilings and the walls.
Oh my God.
Oh snap! But yeah, at least it's looking like it's a go. I mean, it's gonna happen. We're finally, as much as I read on the news and everything, as much as everything looks dire, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Do you see that yet?
I mean, if you lived in New Zealand, you would have seen it already.
No.
They just declared their country completely virus-free. There's countries like, what was it, Taiwan?
Right.
They already holding music festivals. In like
no way.
Yeah.
But you can't
New
travel.
Another one. Granted, yes. But same thing here, technically. I mean, places that will let you travel, I guess. But where are you really going here? I mean, you can travel in the continental U.S.
Listen, I'm to be honest with you, just the fact that I have a test that I can do and it turns around, gives me results within 24 hours, I'm happy with that. Like I feel like that
was such a long step just to get us there.
Right. Now the next step is you not touching me, and then
you never had to worry about that, John.
And then the next step is just getting this vaccine.
COVID or not, don't blame that on.
Right. So, like I said, hopefully we're looking at the end of the tunnel here, at the end of the road, the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're making it to the other side. God, willing that we're in this all healthy. I know that Khoa, God bless you and everybody around you and your family, that y'all stayed healthy, and as far as mine and anybody that's going through issues, hopefully you guys come out this on the other side healthy as well. So,
Yep.
Our well wishes from the Sports Chat Podcast to you guys. Let's get the show on the road. Let's get the show started. So, first and foremost, if you guys, I know we haven't been here in a while, so subscribe, like, tell your people, tell your friends we are finally back. Let them know this is the place to get the info. I did not mean to make that rhyme, but that sounded good. So
roll with it.
Roll with it. but there's been so much that has gone on since we've been out, and I don't want to say that there's certain people that don't want to play for the Rockets anymore, but we'll get into that. Man, the Texans season is looking, like
Over. That's how it's looking.
like we're ready to kind of like wrap this season up, huh?
Should have tanked like the Jets did.
Trevor Lawrence to the New York Jets, maybe. We'll see who the Texans. Hold on, do they got a first round pick? We'll look at the second round. Hold up, do they got a second round pick?
I don't think of Houston sports when I think of first round picks.
Man,
we love to give them away for nothing.
Okay, well, at least, Bill O'Brien's gone, so that's something. But so is DeAndre Hopkins. Now, where do we go from here? We're gonna, obviously get into that, and let's deep dive into a little bit of fantasy football and the Fantasy Sports Chat podcast. Season has pretty much gotten into the playoffs, so we'll get into that a little bit.
Fantasy football's stupid. Don't do it.
Yeah, we played each other this week, so you
Blah,
obviously
blah,
know.
blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. My name is John. I'm stupid.
That's a great impression. So anyways, let's get into this. So the Houston Rockets and James Harden and Russell Westbrook obviously have ended the season on a sour note. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers ended up winning a championship. We all know that by now. Now, we heard rumors and rumblings that the Houston Rockets and Russell Westbrook did not want to enter the season on the same team, on the same page. Neither did apparently James Harden. Well, now, while James Harden is still on the team officially, Russell Westbrook is not. He got traded for Mr. One and Only John Wall from the Washington is it still Wizards? Yeah, it's Washington Wizards.
I think it's the Bullets.
Yeah, it was the Bullets. I almost said that, actually. So,
I think it's the Washington basketball team now. That's what it is.
I like that. Actually, it has a ring to it.
Did you hear? Was it the Cleveland Indians? Are they about to change their name too?
No, the Cleveland Indians are reportedly not going to use Indians anymore. So I don't know if they're going to do
Does
the
that mean
Cleveland
they're gonna
baseball
change
team whole routine, but
Or they're having like a public vote for
right.
name our new mascot.
Right. I never understood a
like
public
a contest.
vote. Right. And they still didn't end up with a team name. So they're actually thinking that the Washington football team, formerly the Washington Redskins, they might extend it to further years. Like it might not just be I think they like the sound of that, the Washington football team.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly do, because they haven't been able to come up with something that they all agree on. I guess apparently,
Yeah.
Do you remember? You remember when the Houston Texans had their whole
Yeah.
fan vote? The Houston Apollos,
Mm-hmm.
the Houston Stallions.
I still remember when they announced Texans, and I was one of those where I was just like, "What?"
It has a roll to the tongue of it, though.
Okay, yeah. Like, how many years? 15 years later, you could say that. Oh no, actually, almost 20 years later, you could say that.
Yeah, but it's still
But back then, when it was announced, I was like, "How? Like, come on."
I still think that it was the Houston Apollos, the Houston Stallions, and I think the Houston Argonauts. Am I right?
I don't remember.
And then of course the Houston Texans, right? So none of those rang like true. They didn't ring right. I mean, it may be revisionist history here, but Houston Texans always sounded better than all those names.
Okay. 5 choices narrowed down: Apollos, Bobcats, Stallions, Texans, and Wildcatters.
Come on now. Tell me one of those is better. I mean,
I like the Apollos.
Right, that's the next closest one.
I like the Apollos.
That's it, though. That is it.
But yeah, I don't know.
Bobcats, seriously, bro.
Over
To
time,
see a Bobcat, or like if I don't go to a horse stable, I'm yet to see a stallion just like running around by themselves.
Yeah.
I see Houston Texans all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything else in Houston is space themed, except for the Oilers, of course, because they. But that's still Houston because it's oil based.
Okay,
so
even in right, you had those 5 choices: Apollos, Bobcats, Stallions, Texans, and Wildcatters. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The XFL had a chance to include any one of those names, and you said, you know what? Nah, we'll go with Roughnecks. I even think those are better. That's a better name than any other choices in the Texans. And they were actually a good team, by the way.
Oh yeah, how long that lasted, man!
Right.
I was excited for the XFL season, or at least for the Roughnecks.
Right. So, anyways, going back to Houston and their whole situation with the Houston Rockets. Now, Russell Westbrook went to Washington, John Wall, and we actually signed Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins. They're actually looking pretty good in the preseason. John Wall. But the big elephant in the room here is actually James Harden, Mr. Houston Rocket for the past at least half a decade, right? Probably one of the top 3 scorers of all time. I contend he's actually a better scorer than Kevin Durant. You know, now, is he better than Michael Jordan? That remains to be seen. I think that he gets to the hole better than Kobe. I think that you know, if there was one person synonymous with Houston Rockets at this moment in time, it's James Harden. He has let it be known across the board, through reports and reporters and whatnot, that he does not want to be with the Houston Rockets any longer. Now, I want to ask you, and I want to ask the Houston public and you guys, how do you feel about this? Because to me, we created, so to speak, this monster, right?
Who's we?
I think Houston.
The fans?
The fans, because the Houston team.
The media? The management? His teammates? Who's we?
Okay, so let's break it down, right? Management, Daryl Morey, and the front office basically has said, James Harden, do you want to play with Carmelo Anthony? Yes, cool. All right, Carmelo Anthony is on our team. Do you not any longer want to play with Carmelo Anthony anymore? No? Okay, Carmelo Anthony is traded or off the team. James Harden, do you want to play with Chris Paul? Yes? Okay, Chris Paul, come play with us on our team. James Harden, do you not want to play with Chris Paul anymore? No, I don't. Okay, Chris Paul, let's trade you, and you're going to Oklahoma City. Hey, how you doing? Russell Westbrook, we play together, Oklahoma City. We have this rapport. We're friends, right? Mm-hmm. James Harden, is this working out? I don't know. The way it seems to me is James Harden had the end-all, be-all. Now, where through reports and what I've read so far online is they did not go with the coach that he wanted. So all this time, James Harden has said who I want to play for, who I want to play for, who I want. to run the offense, who I want to surround me. He said, basically what goes. Now, when we say, you know what, we value your opinion, or maybe they didn't even do that. Maybe they said, cool, we'll take that in consideration. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't go with the person that he wanted. They didn't keep D'Antoni, who made him one of the greatest scorers of all time in that offense, if not at least the most used player at that moment in time. And he led the league in scoring. He led the league in assists, and then they fired his GM. Well, I'm sorry, I take that back. The GM left, and that's another topic too. I kind of like I might feel a certain type of way that's maybe contrary to everybody else's thoughts. So James Harden says, I want to play with two different teams, right? Basically, Philly or Brooklyn. Brooklyn, he played with Kevin Durant, obviously, in OKC, who is now on Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Nets. And Philly, who the assistant coach is now, D'Antoni, who the president of operations is now, Daryl Morey. So I feel like he said, you know what? The team doesn't respond to me anymore. They don't value my opinion enough. So I'm going to go ahead and go to who I know values my opinion, or who's a friend of mine who I know that they're building a team in the New Jersey Nets, or Brooklyn Nets, excuse me. So, where does that leave Houston Rockets, and Houston Rockets fans when it comes to James Harden? Do you feel like he has turned his back on the city, turned his back on the fans, or just said, you know what, enough is enough? I'm going to try to take my own future and make my own destiny, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, you what do you feel like as a Houston Rockets fan?
I feel like I think for me personally, and maybe a lot of fans as well, like maybe we've given Harden almost like too long or too many passes and all these things. Even especially when you list it out of like the track record and the history of the moves that we've made and who we've brought in to kind of like be the co-star, the Robin to his Batman type of, like partnership or duo, or, to build the team around him. But time and time again, it hasn't worked out. And it's like at some point, like it makes me as a fan, and I'm, like I love him, and, like I have always rode for Harden and have tried to see the things in the way that, like, hey, we got to build it around him. We got to build it around him. Like, how else are we going to do it? Like you said, he's one of the most prolific scorers, in this era of basketball, period. So that's something. But it's almost one of those things where it almost makes you overlook all these other things. And yeah, like I'm not saying that there are things about him that like haven't improved. I remember when everyone still dogged on, and people still do, like dog on his defense. And, like you pay attention to his defense, I think it's a lot better than people still give him credit for, just because, the way that he looks, he's an unorthodox looking kind of player, especially the way he moves in his Euro step. And also because of how much he scores, you don't even really pay attention. If he doesn't have flashy blocks like LeBron does, where he's basically chasing someone full court press and blocking him from behind at the backboard, and it's like, okay, just because he's not doing that, like he's not playing defense.
Right.
Anyway, but besides the point, it really does make me kind of reflect and think, man, is he the problem? And so now, we make these moves. Westbrook is gone. John Wall's in. Boogie's in. I like the two of them, But again, it makes me think of like when I first heard about Chris Paul, I liked the idea of that. When I first heard about Brody, I liked the idea of that too. And I could say the same thing, almost like the same way I felt for Boogie and John Wall. You know, I mean, I like the both of them, but also at the same time, I mean, Boogie is not the same or hasn't been the same Boogie in the last, like, let's say year or so than what his like prime was. What I would love to have him at, right? And John Wall is a respected vet in his own right. So where do they fit in our system? Is it with Harden? And the fact that Harden is not showing interest of wanting to play with him, that's like a huge red flag. And I don't know, like as much as because I've talked about it with people who, no matter what, is like, you know, whether he wants to be here or not, we can't afford to lose him. When in our lifetime are we going to get somebody of that caliber here to be our star again?
Something that pull back the curtain a little bit. Something that we were talking about before the show started was, you know, the fact that Russell Westbrook was somebody that didn't enamor himself with the city of Houston, not because of anything that he did or didn't do. It's just because of, you know, he only had less than a year with the COVID and everything that came down to it. He didn't really get a chance to become a part of the city, because it was either Oklahoma City or LA where he's from, right? But from the complete opposite end of the spectrum, James Harden was completely synonymous with the Houston Texans. I mean, excuse me, Houston Rockets and Houston City itself, because this is where he made his name, where he made his fame.
Is he still opening a restaurant here?
Yeah, 100%. Right? And it's him and
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. So,
he's
anyway,
getting a Philly cheesesteak place.
Oh man, dude, I want to check that out,
bro.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was
bro.
So
our
anyway,
next show is going to be catered by Deshaun Watson's restaurant.
100%. We're gonna make that happen. Anyway, so you know, with James Harden, he was the Houston Rockets, and it was easier for us to move Westbrook because he wasn't a staple of the city of Houston. And I'm not saying that in any disparaging way for Russell Westbrook, but it's just the
no. But yeah, no. Anybody would have been easier to move than
exactly. So, and obviously that's actually
Harden.
what's happening, right? So
right.
Westbrook gets moved. Now, when I say that, I also understand that, you know, we're not going to get the same return in James Harden. Like, what I mean by that is Russell Westbrook, it's easier for us to take a lesser deal for him because he wasn't Houston Rocket, you know, ish, if that's the right way to put it. Now, James Harden he was a Houston Rockets. So if we want an equal value for James Harden, we're going to have to get somebody that's synonymous with their team, with their city, a.k.a. Devin Booker, a.k.a. Devin Mitchell, or Donovan Mitchell. I keep messing up his name. Anyways,
I just like the name Devin.
I know, right?
Devin the dude.
Tyrone Devin.
Tyrone Devin? Who the hell is that?
Synonymous. Anyways, word of the day. Anyways, so we're not gonna necessarily find a team that's willing to give up those type of franchise players, and that's what we demand in return. And so if I am somebody that is a GM or president, I refuse to trade James Harden. I just do. Like, name me somebody. Think about it. Name me somebody that's more synonymous with their city besides James Harden. Let me go down the list. Giannis. That's it. Like, top tier. That's either on level with James Harden
Mm-hmm.
or above. And it's Giannis. You go through all NBA teams. Because you can't even say LeBron or KD because they've switched teams so much. I'm talking about one franchise. If LeBron was still on Cleveland, you could say LeBron. But that's it. It's Giannis and James Harden. And that's it.
Yeah.
So what am I going to get in return? And if not, I'd rather have James Harden. Listen, I love James Harden. I love his game. I appreciate him. Trust me, I'm an advocate for James Harden. I've fought for him when everybody said he was a choker, when everybody says that he doesn't show up in the playoffs, when everybody says that he is a matador on defense. I've been the one, and I can, me and even Chris has been somewhat of a diehard supporter of James Harden.
Yeah.
But at this moment in time, if I'm not getting equal value,
there it is.
I am not trading James Harden. I'd rather him sit at home and I pay him his fee in order for me to keep my future of my franchise. Bottom line. Now, would you decide to trade him, even though you know he doesn't want to be here, or try to get the best value and be willing to sit a year and know that you're basically throwing away $25 million?
I mean, the big thing to me is if he doesn't want to be here, what's really going to keep him here? I just feel like once a star don't want to be somewhere.
Right, but what you just said it on, you hit the nail on the head. What's really the reason that he doesn't want to be here? Honestly,
because he thinks he can't win.
Right. Now, so the only way that he can think that he can possibly win is with the team actually being a good team. Now, John Wall.
So you're basically just saying, hey, we're going to hold you against your will and make you believe in this team again and basically make you fall in love back with the Rockets again. In a sense.
Is that bad?
No, but I mean, like, that's not a bad way to think about it because I'm thinking, like, right, that's one way to look at it. But on the other end is like, well, I would love to keep him, right? But at this point, you know, you got to think what's best for just the future of the team. How are we going to get back to the playoffs and a championship?
But you got two options, right? You can either play and see how this team works out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can be a malcontent and just go home and say, I don't want to play, right? You have two options because you forget you signed the contract.
Mm-hmm.
You had a choice. And for whatever reason that people want to believe that, and I'm one of those that I believe in player empowerment. I believe in players should have a 51-49 share when it comes to contracts, right? And the Players Association, you know, what's it called? Agreement with the owners, right?
Mm-hmm.
The CBA. That's the word I was looking for. Anyways, I'm a player first type, you know, thinker. But at the same time, listen, with all these options that you have, you signed a 5, 6, 7-year contract. Now, stipulations say you signed a contract, you have to play out that contract. Now, things can change, but also you've given the right to the team to trade you. You've given up that right by signing this $25, $30, $40 million contract. That's the way that it works. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel bad if I'm basically being held hostage. Shit.
No, yeah.
I didn't make you sign the contract.
That's true.
You not only did you sign the contract, you signed an extension. You didn't you want to let me in a general sense, right? I'm not talking directly to James Harden, but in a sense,
yeah,
it's
you
like,
are. James is watching this right now.
When you sign that contract, when you sign that extension, you didn't put any stipulations saying that if D'Antoni is fired or isn't rehired, you have a clause that says, you know what, I'm out. If Daryl Morey isn't there anymore, you don't have a clause that says, basically I'm out. No, you signed the contract because you saw the money. Hey, let's be honest. I would have signed a contract too. But now you're beholden to that. Regardless if you think that it's not fair, regardless if you think that, you don't want to play here no more. It is what it is. You signed a contract. Nobody held the gun to your head in that situation. So, when you say, hey, who has the leverage here? The Houston Rockets absolutely have all the leverage here.
They do.
So as much as you don't want to keep a player against his will, and I don't agree with that either necessarily, but in this instance, James Harden has 2 years left on his contract. I'm not gonna just okay, you don't want to be here no more. I'm gonna take the lesser offer because he's gonna not be happy. No, screw that. I'm gonna protect my team and my options first and foremost. And if that means that I have to trade James Harden to say Orlando Magic, hey, 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 hey.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think, what do you think? Knowing that we have that option, though, what's really going to be realistically the best option for the team?
One, and this may be my ego, and I'm gonna admit that, right? There's no way in hell I'm trading to Philadelphia. First of all, Daryl Morey said I quit or I resign, right? Because I want to be with my kids. I want to spend more time. I want to take some time off, right? No less than a month. Yeah, I don't really want to be with my kids. Nah, I don't really need time off.
Fuck them kids.
Right. I'm going to go to the 76ers. Knowing that D'Antoni, ex-head coach for the Rockets, you want to come with us? Come on. We'll do this. James Harden, hey, how you doing? I know you're not happy. We all left. Trust me, Philly is so much better. Have you been to Philly? Because I've been to Philly. Philly is, oh, my God. I don't.
Say it.
Ooh, it was rough. It was rough. Philly is a
what's wrong with Philly?
Rough city, but I guarantee you.
It's a city of brotherly love.
Yeah, no. No. Listen, if the most famous your city is known
for Rocky?
Is it Rocky and Philly cheesesteaks?
It's for a guy who's not even real. They got a monument and a statue of a fictional.
Listen, James Harden, I know you got enough money to fly into Houston in an hour from Philly, but trust me, the strip clubs in Philly they can't light our candle, bro. They cannot light our candle.
Wait, so you're saying he's going to the Hawks? He's trying to go to Magic City.
I honestly think that, and let me. Okay, let's do this. Let's pretend for a split second. Let's pretend. I know Houston Rockets fans do not want to hear this, but let's pretend. What's actually the best city for James Harden? Let's just brainstorm here. Let's not say that he can go to LA Lakers or the Warriors, because both LA doesn't have the money, and the Warriors have reportedly they don't have any interest in James Harden. All other teams considered, right? What's the best city for him to go to, or best team?
Does that include the Rockets?
Right, yeah. We can include the Rockets.
I mean, I think it's the Rockets, but
But you're a homer. And
No,
I get that.
yeah.
And that's
No,
the whole
I'm a
reason
homer.
you even asked. Does that include the Rockets? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You're gonna say the Rockets.
yeah,
Right.
but I think that. Does that mean he's gonna fucking
Actually, you know what?
win a championship?
And
I hope he
hate-
does.
You
But
know, the reason that this won't happen is because they're actual title contenders. But I think that the best trade for the Rockets, for us to for it to actually happen, is gonna be Paul George. Ooh, ooh,
PG.
ooh, that hurt. That hurt, right? I know it hurt. I know a little soul left in you because of the fact that actually that could actually happen.
Yeah.
Because one for one, the money's right. Right?
Mhm.
PG just signed an extension, right? Max, right? So 1 for 1, the money's right. As far as like players, they could probably offer the best package, but they're in the Western Conference, and they're actually, if we look at ourselves as Western Conference contenders, they're actual competitors. So it wouldn't necessarily be an option because of that, but if we wanted to get the best trade and the value, we could get future draft picks, and we could get actual player and players that would complement John Wall and Boogie. Imagine that. John Wall, Boogie Cousins, and Paul George. I mean, just like the names itself. Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Right? But then James Harden will actually go to Los Angeles, where he's from, and a strip club that's down the street 100 miles away in Las Vegas. Who he actually went to party with Little Baby, and we all know this. Listen, man, everybody hates on James Harden's philanthropic escapades, if we want to say it that way, right? But he's taking care of the neighborhood. He's taking care of ladies that are paying their way through college. You know? And he is single-handedly, let's be honest here, helped out the exotic nature of Houston business, right? After hours, if I want to, put this into context. Now, the only city besides Atlanta, as you well put, and Atlanta's a good choice, but we would have to get Trey as well back over here, but that's not gonna happen because we just signed John Wall, right? But for him to continue his philanthropic ways, he would have to go to LA, because obviously Las Vegas doesn't have a NBA basketball team, but still, let's, if you, like I said, he has enough money to privately fly within 30 minutes to his favorite spot.
That's gonna be the deciding factor, I guess.
Hey, man, listen, Miami's not bad though too. Miami's the next best option though.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they have enough to give me what I want in return.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero, I'm not taking that shit.
Oh.
Duncan Robinson, the amalgamism of David Robinson and Tim Duncan, all in one white boy. That is not doing it for me. So, I honestly think that the best option for James Harden to get equal return as much as it possibly can be would be Paul George in the Los Angeles Clippers. Nobody's thought of that though. I don't think that anybody's thought of
I
that.
wouldn't say nobody. I've heard of
You
people
have?
talking about PG. Yeah.
Really? Okay. All
I
right.
don't like it, but
It's not enough though, right?
I don't think it is. But
That's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
I think that all three of them are big, huge question marks, right? John Wall, Achilles, right? Freaking big Boogie Cousins, Achilles, and a quad
Yeah.
tear, And I was watching the preseason games. Honestly, let's be honest here. if it's just John Wall and Boogie Cousins, let's just say that um, at best, I feel like we're middle of the road. And listen, I'm an optimist here. I do not like John Wall's shot selection. If you thought that Russell Westbrook shot selection was bad, I think that you as John Wall, you're getting exact value. John Wall may be a little bit cheaper as far as the contracts are concerned. But then you also gotta factor in that Russell Westbrook is potentially a walking triple double, where John Wall isn't. But it's not because any other reason that John Wall isn't like all trying to get every rebound. You know what I mean? That's the only reason. But like, it's the same thing. Like, I was watching John Wall take, mid-range jump shots with 1 foot, 1 heel on the 3-point line, and if I've learned anything from Daryl Morey is that's probably the worst shot in the NBA. But it's like a regular thing for John Wall, and I don't want to be too negative, but let's just be honest here. If James Harden can't fall in love with the Houston Rockets, then it's going to be a long season. But
I bet it's going to be a long season regardless. This is how we started.
I know. Very good point.
I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just something about Houston sports. So you never can just feel confident about your team and your season and the outlook.
Is it Houston sports? Like that's what you feel about.
That's what I feel about Houston. It has never been easy to be a Texans fan, or Texans or Houston fan, and like I'm saying that, of course, with a very narrow lens because I don't know what it's like to be an LA fan or a Cleveland fan or whatever other city, right?
Right.
But I just feel like I think Houston is pretty unique in that we are one of the biggest markets, right? Just as like a metropolis or a metropolitan, we have pretty much a team in every major sports league. And so, like we have the salary and the capital to have superstars and build these great teams, and something always just isn't clicking or isn't right or gets in the way. And it even reminds me of, like I told you, we've talked about it before, like our brightest moment when the Astros won the World Series 2017. Remember the day after the Astros parade, the championship parade, what happened? Deshaun Watson tore his ACL.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was like real quick. You just fucking, hey, here's a little glimmer of hope, and then bring yourself fucking back down. And not even that. The championship itself is fucking tainted now because all this shit, of course, that we all know with the Astros now. So it's like, come on, man. Like, I feel like, and this is, of course, just being a crybaby sports fan of any city, just like, oh, it's so hard to be
something
a
like
fan
that,
of. But
no.
But I do feel like that, like it's tough being a Houston fan. And I feel like the main thing that is so tough about it is because we have so much potential, like financially, because we actually have the resources to be great. But we either choose the wrong coaches, have the wrong management, manage the stars wrong, or have the wrong talent at the wrong time.
Well, I mean, like, think about it. I think that we're. I don't want to be a boohoo type person, but like at the same time, I do think that it's a little bit snake bit. We were up 3-2. Chris Paul messes up his hamstring, right? You have, the next year, we have a good competitive team. Russell Westbrook coming out in the bubble injures his either hamstring or knee or calf or whatever it was. He wasn't 100%, obviously. It just doesn't seem to fold our way when other situations, like I honestly think that had Chris Paul not tore his hamstring, I think that we would have been the Toronto Raptors. Right after that, Klay Thompson's out.
That's still one.
Kevin Durant's out. It's just so hard for things to fall into place when it comes to winning a championship. And I honestly, when I look at you brought up Houston sports in general, right? Deshaun Watson tears his ACL. J.J. Watt had multiple years where he is out for the season. Torn pec, torn, bicep, I think it was the next year. James Harden has actually had a team that has actually tried to compete every year, regardless of what you think of, other teams. Let's just put for example, when you had Kobe Bryant, he said he wanted to be traded to the Bulls. Actually, was like bound on the next plane to Chicago, right? Because he said he officially wanted to be traded from the LA Lakers. Who do you have? Sasha Vujacic? That was his number 2. Shannon Brown? That was his number 3. Kwame Brown?
Kwame Brown, dude.
That was his number 4.
Yeah.
Come on now. It's like, name one of those players that would have even been on our team when James Harden was around. The closest worst number 2 for him was Dwight Howard. Other than that, he's had Chris Paul. He's had Russell Westbrook. Now he has John Wall and Boogie Cousins. At least they're both all-stars. So it's not the same thing. You can boo-hoo all you want, but it's not the same. That's
what makes it worse to me.
Exactly.
It makes it worse because, like, I'm boo-hooing because look at the fucking potential. They're not nobodies,
But what my point is, too, though, is like, you say that hopefully, Harden falls in love with this team, right? But my point is, like, at every step of the way, we have tried to go beyond competitively. But you also have to understand he's running into one of the greatest teams of all time in the Golden State Warriors. 2, one of the greatest players of all time, LeBron James. And I think that at this point, what is actually driving him is when he chooses Philly and he chooses New Jersey, right?
Brooklyn.
Sorry, I keep saying New Jersey. I'm old here, right? Anyways, Brooklyn is he wants to create a super team to combat that, right? He no longer believes in the fact that we can build around me. And that's an ego thing. You have to check yourself. You have to be able to say, you know what? I'm not the end all be all. And you have to really believe, you know what? I just have to
You think that's
absolutely
his
absolutely
ideology and what he's thinking?
Because I no longer have a voice in what management does. And the only other way that I know that you can beat LeBron James is by creating another super team. That's it. Because you can't. You honestly can't.
So basically, he's on this same step now of his career that Kevin Durant is at.
Absolutely.
That Anthony Davis is at.
Absolutely. They no longer believe. And guess what? Everybody that believes that, let me build around me, Giannis doesn't believe that shit either. If he had, he would have signed to the fucking paper. It's all about who I can join as opposed to who can join me. It is. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
I mean, yeah, from player perspective, it makes sense. You got limited time in this league with the amount of years you could play, with the amount of injuries that could happen or whatever, right? With COVID and now these world issues, you don't even know, if a season can continue, how long it can be, et cetera, et cetera. So you've already had a pretty long-standing career, and you're looking at what's going to be in my future. And it's funny, the more I talk about it, it's like, man, am I talking about James Harden right now, or am I talking about J.J. Watt?
Hey,
and it's
I was just thinking this right when you said that, right?
It's the same train of thought, right?
I want to give people a sense of hope because at the end of the day, Kobe Bryant stayed with the Lakers, and Kobe Bryant won 2 more championships with the Los Angeles Lakers with Sasha Vujacic on that team, right? All right. But also, then he got help with Paul Gasol and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And this is listen, for Tita, this is what you got to do. You want James Harden to be a part of this team, then you have to present a situation where Paul Gasol, a.k.a. Marc Gasol, or a.k.a. Giannis, or, anybody that is an all-star type player who is maybe in a situation where they'll never get out of, there's all kinds of possibilities. But my point is this. Giannis stayed there. Kobe Bryant stayed there. And at the end of the day, the greatest Houston Rocket of all time, Akeem Olajuwon, demanded a trade.
Yep.
And ended up staying here with the Houston Rockets. And ended up winning 2 championships. So there's still hope out there. There really is. I gave you 2 examples of where even though these players wanted out, they stayed with their team and won a couple more championships. There's still hope. James Harden, listen, dude. Again, I know plenty of women out there that are in college that really need philanthropic help.
Shut up.
And you've really, really done a great job already in the city. But we love you, bro.
Oh,
we love
my
you.
God.
We appreciate you more than if you went to Vegas, they don't appreciate you like we appreciate you. AKA Harlem Nights, Men's Club, Palace, name one, the Ritz.
No.
What you mean?
Nah. All right.
There's plenty
Let's
of
move along.
Asian spots out there too. Hey, they're mainly massage parties, but you like massages too, right? Anyways,
yeah.
you were talking about. You brought up a great point. I want to kind of like segue into this NFL talk because I feel like, we run the mill on the Rockets, but
The Patty Mills?
listen. A 4-9 season, a season where we gave up DeAndre Hopkins, a season where we gave Randall Cobb a great contract. We basically said, show and prove, Will Fuller. The Houston Texans are in a rough year. We gave an extension to Deshaun Watson, so he's committed.
Mm-hmm. I would hope so. That's
the problem I have when I think about the Houston Texans, their NFL team, is actually J.J. Watt.
mm-hmm.
Do you feel like we owe him a trade? We owe him to put him in a better situation because of right now. We don't have a first-round pick next year. We're not necessarily set up to become a contender fast. Like, the turnaround isn't great, right? So, like, even with Deshaun Watson, we're like, just keep improving, get better, and keep this team afloat. Make it interesting, right? But J.J. Watt doesn't have that time, whereas Deshaun Watson does.
Mm-hmm.
So do we owe him in a sense of like, let's put him in a better situation? Or do you think that we are capable enough to actually turn around a season this quick this fast with, let me tell you, we still don't have a head coach. We still don't have a GM. So I mean, I've yet to hear a situation where without those two, they turn around that fast. But who am I, right?
Yeah, who are you?
J.J. Watt. Should he go to another team?
Fuck no.
Wow.
Says the Houston fan in me. But
Let's be
the
honest.
JJ fan in me, I mean, I want nothing but the best for him. And, he's done more than enough for the city and for the Texans. And I'll never not appreciate having him here. But, I mean, like you said, if it is remotely possible that we can have some sort of crazy turnaround, make all the right moves to where we stabilize the situation that we have with a proper head coach, GM, fix our holes in our an O-line, receiving core, even our secondary. I mean, there's so many holes that we still have. Like, we have great pieces, but they haven't been a cohesive unit. And, I think, especially for someone like JJ, they can't keep relying on him. Obviously, he's not the same caliber player that he was in his prime, and he can't put up a 20-sack season anymore. Unfortunately, just with his health, I mean, he's a beast, and he always will be, but like it or not, his prime is past him. Doesn't mean that he can't still contribute to winning a championship, though. 100% he could. But is it going to be with the Texans? I damn sure want it to be. But like he said, he's even said he wants to contend. He hasn't gone out and said he wants to move for that to happen. So I know that his heart is still here and he wants to do it here. But can we make it happen?
I think that one of the things that really, really have affected J.J. Watt is his wife being traded from the Houston Dash. If you don't know, she's an actual, I think she was the captain at the time with the Houston Dash, the professional women's league soccer team. And she got traded. And then seeing his brothers, I think one of his brothers on the Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
Both of them.
Both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and just the success that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had, I think it's at least given him wanderlust, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that love, in a sense of like whether it's like family love or actual just like your wife or whatever significant spouse. It pulls you right in a certain direction.
Yeah.
But also hometown love, and like we were talking about I can't even say the word, but the relationship that a player has with their city, right? Like I said, James Harden is synonymous with the Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, but J.J. Watt, more than any other player in the NFL, is probably synonymous. That's not a quarterback. Synonymous with the city, right, of the Houston Texans, and their team. So I think that he has a lot of strings pulling him. But at this point, I feel like if you've given so much to the city, 110%, a busted bicep, a busted, pec, pectoral, and you, like you said, you're not what you used to be. At this point, the only thing that's left in him is to win a championship. And the fact that his wife can move, the fact that he could possibly end up on a contender, drives him to a certain extent that, you know what, he's willing to go to another team. And if a team is willing to give me a second-round pick for somebody like, even a third-round pick at this point, like talent for talent, if we're talking about it, talent for talent. If you're willing to get a second or third round pick, you deserve it to J.J. Watt to send him to a contender. If you're not going to contend for the next year and a half, I have no problem with it, especially in the NFL. There's 53 players on your squad.
Yeah.
Come on now. We're not the Texans of old as far as like defense is concerned. It's not. I mean, like, you have multiple players out today, and we just looked it up. Justin Reed's out for the season.
Yeah.
You know, it's just let's build around Deshaun Watson. And I'm sorry. I know this drains you. And I know this sounds like I'm going down pause. I'm going down a bad road as far as like J.J. Watt, a sad road. Let's say that as far as J.J. Watt's concerned. But I feel like let me put it like this: James Harden, if he leaves right now, we're not building a statue for him. There's no monument that we put up for James Harden. Right?
Okay.
J.J. Watt has already created that monument. He already has a statue in the city of Houston, outside of Reliance Stadium, outside of Energy, whatever you want to call it. You know,
yeah.
He's had it. He has it. It's already cemented, like in bronze. You know, he has his bronze bust.
Yeah.
James Harden doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, so at this point, it's like, you know, what are we really doing? We're either bringing him along on a mediocre team at best, or we're providing him a way to bookend his career, and at least with the chance of holding up that Lombardi trophy. And guess what? We would be
fucking elated.
Right. I would be happy for him.
Yeah.
I would be vicariously happy
I
for
would
him.
celebrate so hard to see J.J. Watt raise that trophy.
Right.
No matter what
if he
team
won on
he's
the 49ers.
Well, okay, first of all, now you're getting a little pipe dreams over here. That ain't going to happen.
No. Like, in all honesty,
49ers.
like, if there was one team I could see him in, like visually see him in, it'd be Pittsburgh. But that's also like a kind of like a dream, a pipe dream type situation, you know, because he has two other brothers on that team. But like, it'd be nice to see.
Or he's gonna play in his home state.
Well, Wisconsin? No, where?
Yeah,
Where's he from?
Wisconsin.
He's from Wisconsin. I thought he played college while in Wisconsin.
He's from there too.
Oh wow. Green Bay. Oh wow.
He grew up a Packers fan. Always.
I didn't know that. So yeah, no, I can see that too. But
I mean, two of, if not the biggest or most successful franchises
100%. That's a great.
The NFL. With
I would like to see that better because of the NFC versus the AFC, because we're in the AFC. I would like to see that better.
Yeah. So if he's moving anywhere, that's where, I mean, I see him going to somewhere that has such a significance at this point in his career that the team will already have so much history in what they are, and it's almost like it'll be such a cool thing. It'll be reinvigorating for that team and for him, which I'll be happy for him. Not so much the team, I don't care. Whatever, wherever he goes. But I mean, even just the thought of him playing with his brothers in Pittsburgh, I think is fucking
amazing.
Fucking
right?
amazing.
Right,
That's cool. I don't know if that's ever been done before. 3 brothers playing on the same team. Now their parents don't have to split up to go to their games.
True. No, like the McCourty brothers finally got the Patriots, the twins, McCourties. They both went on the Patriots and they won a championship, which is cool, right?
Yeah, that's
but it's hard to trade within your own conference, right? But I do like the Packers idea. Real quick, who are your favorites in the AFC NFC to go to the Super Bowl? Just off the top of your head, we can get into a preview later, but
NFC and AFC.
Come on, like
AFC.
Is
it the Steelers?
Hard. No, it can't be that hard.
Okay, so Chiefs easy.
Okay, thank you. I'm like, why'd you take that long?
I was like, who can dethrone the Chiefs?
No, Steelers are the closest thing, but they've looked terrible the past 2 weeks. Bills would be even like a higher.
I like the Bills.
Oh man, I love the Bills.
I like the Bills.
Like to me, they're gritty. Like they want it more than.
And they're getting little pieces back. Who's it? Matt Milano just came back.
Yeah.
For defense. So
Josh
I do
Allen
like the Bills.
went from the worst accuracy to the fourth best in 1 year.
And Carson Wentz went from.
Shout out Chris, because that's your boy, Jalen Hurts. Hey, that's your boy. And Jalen Hurts came decked out in Houston
Astros gear.
Yes, sir.
That was amazing. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. So, NFC. Who's Packers?
I think that's it, dude. I think that's a Super Bowl. And that'd be a good-ass Super Bowl. Packers and Chiefs. So you got the Packers.
I fucking love to see it. Hell yeah.
The one of the teams that beat the Packers was Minnesota, so I think that could be upset alert right there. You got Saints, but they've been with Taysom Hill.
I like Taysom Hill.
You do?
I want to see Drew Brees back, but
really, you like Taysom Hill?
Why wouldn't you? He's always been like the biggest like threat that you have you know what he's gonna do. If he's behind center, they're gonna direct snap to him.
He doesn't. You don't know what he's gonna do. He can be.
That's great.
Right. He's like the enigma in.
He
NFL.
also, I feel like he throws better than people give him credit for, because I think most people see him just as a glorified fullback.
Those first 2 weeks were rough. I'm sorry. Have you watched any of those games? Like
I did.
No, he looked like
maybe
Lamar
I
Jackson.
had lower expectations for him than you did, but I wasn't expecting him to come out and be Drew Brees.
Really?
Nobody can come out and expect for him to be Drew.
No, I thought he was gonna be.
No.
As much as Sean Payton built him up. Yeah.
Taysom Hill is there because of his versatility, not because of his arm accuracy and his pocket presence. That's Drew Brees.
No, he got like from week 1 and 2. Well, his week 1 and 2 to last week. I know they lost, but still, he was a lot better.
This is what I'm telling you. Yeah. Like, I think he's better than.
It's a process. I'll give it that.
But I'm saying I like him, and I like the energy he brings to the team. He's not a standard backup that's just like, all right, well, we're really just killing time until you get back. Like, he's actually like, this is a different energy.
Right.
He'll never replace Drew Brees in that sense, but
let me ask you
this.
It's a
different energy that's like,
real quick. And I want to get back on topic. But anyways, why do you think that they went with Jameis as a backup to Drew Brees as opposed to him? But then when they actually had to start the whole game, they went with Taysom Hill.
I just think that they weren't sold. I don't know if that's the right.
That's not true.
That's not the right.
He's always.
Always. No, I know.
Taysom Hill.
But again, I think that they've always seen his value in being that versatile, that wild card. Now when you
maybe you can game.
Now when you put into this, when he has to be the full 4-down quarterback, and really be able to be the shot caller, shot maker, shot thrower, all that. Like when he has to do all those things, maybe he wasn't confident enough in his capability of doing that. And I guess he was more so in Jameis, at least in the fact of like, let me give him a chance.
If you had like that week, right? So Sean Payton and Drew Brees, they have a certain offense that they instill that week, right? Mm-hmm. It's basically throwing, right? And Drew Brees ain't running, right? So Jameis Winston can easily take, because he's more of a throwing quarterback than he is a running quarterback. He can easily take over that game plan for that day, that one game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had a week to a game plan, you could say, okay, the offense is going to run as a run pass option, or a draw play, or an option. But yeah, I have been more every week that goes by, I've been more and more impressed with Taysom Hill. All right, so you have Green Bay, you have Saints coming out of the NFC South, the NFC East. Let's just go with toss up, the Eagles, right? Or it's not the Cowboys. That's all I mean.
What about the Washington football team?
Oh man, they look good against the 49ers, but it's really Seattle, the Rams. It's really who's hot in the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in the Saints or the Packers more than I do any of those teams. It just, they're so hot and cold when it comes to the NFC West. It really is.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs and the Packers to me is as of right now, as it stands, the way to go.
I mean, obviously, it seems like the most clear-cut answer now, but when you say Bills, I like the Bills. I like their chances. I just like the way they play and the fact that they're the fucking Buffalo Bills.
Well, I think that Buffalo has a way to slow down the game that I think that you have to do with the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs are so fast-paced, I think Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions last week, right? Patrick Hillel is not the running back that everybody thought that he was going to be.
Who?
What's his name?
Clyde?
Clyde.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
There you go. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. I got Patrick Mahomes and him mixed up, right? I need to stay off the. Anyways, he's nowhere near Cream Hunt, right? Obviously. It's just, I feel like the Bills actually have a better defense. They have a better running game. I don't want to say it's
have
equal,
Patrick Mahomes.
but Josh Allen's good though, man. But
Good ain't gonna cut it.
Ooh.
I mean, you think when it comes down to it,
I think he's a better runner than Patrick Mahomes.
huh?
He's a better runner.
Really think so?
Look at the touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Absolutely. Now, Patrick Mahomes is a better thrower. Don't get me wrong. But
And a better thrower on the run.
yeah, I mean, dude, he can throw no-look passes. Come
Okay, well, that's one of the things. That's going to be an equalizer. That's going to.
Do you feel like running quarterbacks or quarterbacks that can extend plays is the way to go? Because I look at it and I'm like, okay, Drew Brees, Tom Brady.
What? Yeah. What?
No,
Why wouldn't they be?
Phillip Rivers. Basically, that's it.
Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, stationary quarterbacks that pick apart defenses just by passes.
Did you forget about Mr. Discount Double Check?
Oh, whoa. Discount Double Check was running out the pocket a long time before Patrick Mahomes. Let's get that right. Like, here's my point. I'm sorry. My point is this. Quarterbacks that can extend plays as opposed to timing, it's all about timing. But what you're talking about, what you're alluding to is
You can also add Big Ben in there.
okay, Big Ben. Let's add
Big Ben. What do they say? He has the lowest I think it was at average time from the snap to release
Okay.
of any quarterback. So I mean, he's again,
But he's
like
not
you
the
said,
he is not the same quarterback that he was. when he
still
first-
still can pick apart defenses because of how quick he throws in the pocket.
Here's
But it fits, and it's like, okay, so he's not extending the playbook because he doesn't allow it.
Anymore.
Right?
He used to.
Yeah, yeah.
He used to have like 3 players hang on him.
No, yeah, I know.
Like Cam Newton, what he used to do,
Yeah.
Big Ben was
Yeah,
doing like
yeah.
3 or 4 or 5 years before him.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But he knows he can't do that no more. That's why he's trying to get
Right,
rid of the ball
right.
as fast as he can.
So I to be honest with you, when I look at these quarterbacks, you have a Josh Allen, you have Taysom Hill, you have people don't realize how good PJ Walker is. Like you laugh.
I
And-
don't
and
laugh.
I'm
I'm still mad that
listen,
we don't
listen,
have
I am 100%
Roughnecks.
I am 100% serious when I talk about PJ Walker.
I'm not saying you're not. I just
this
wish
dude
it was
is, to me,
could have
my
been an
eyes,
XFL champion right
bro,
there.
He is Doug Flutie in the flesh as a black man, 100%. Anyways, I feel like those quarterbacks are
PJ
becoming
Flutie.
more and more the norm, and more valuable.
Of course.
Because the way that the NFL has become so much more athletic. When you have you have Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowls. You have I honestly think that Aaron Rodgers is a mobile quarterback. When you have him and Deshaun Watson being top 3, top 5, QBR rated quarterbacks of all time in a season, and it goes to extended. We watch right now. We watch freaking Lamar Jackson go off. We watched Baker Mayfield go off, not because of any other reason, because they extended the
They are
plays.
able to extend the play. Yeah.
So I don't think that the stationary quarterback is actually the future anymore. As much as I love,
Is that like? It's probably not really accurate, but it's like I was gonna say, is the NFL going in the opposite direction of the NBA? How now think about the NBA in recent years. What everybody's a shooter now. Everybody wants to shoot behind the 3. Big men want to shoot. You got centers shooting threes.
Right, 3-and-D.
So think of that in football sense, where you think of quarterbacks of old. What are they doing? They standing there in the pocket trying to throw, and that's what they're meant to do. And then now more and more, now they're becoming more mobile, more athletic. That's what you see that's more common. Even you hear about that great, I don't know, did you watch that little basic little interview, little round table talk that they had? It was Warren Moon,
Yeah, and
Deshaun Watson, and
a couple other.
a couple others, and him, Warren talking about how they didn't want me to
Right.
they didn't want me to throw. Yeah, well, they didn't even want him to be quarterback, basically.
Right.
Or they would have not wanted him if they knew how fast he was.
Right,
Because then
right.
they would have just said, oh, you're going to be running back or whatever. But he knew he was a quarterback. He knew he wanted to throw the ball. But he just also had this ability, this athletic ability to run really well.
See, I think that there's a fine line because of the fact that they're so important, right? So how much do you want to put them in the line of fire? Because these are freaking 260.
Well, that's a different story. That's how much are you game planning around that, and how much are you relying on that is one thing. That's more on how you coach and how you write your game book.
Right.
Versus, okay, just based off the fact of you have someone who's purely a pocket passer versus you have someone who's a good passer but can extend the
Run.
play and still throw on the run or whatever.
No.
Or
There's a
just
different-
run.
Right.
Just
right.
run.
Like let's
Okay. Still, that now it still depends on if they both had the same playbook, it wouldn't be an even comparison.
What do you mean? Explain. No, I mean just because of the fact that I kind of got confused in what you were saying, because you have a passing quarterback, right? Let's just say Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, right? That type of quarterback, right? Phillip Rivers, let's include him. Then you have somebody that can extend plays. Patrick Mahomes. You have Russell Wilson. You have Kyler Murray. You have Josh Allen. You have.
So let's say even all those ones that you consider more mobile. Do you think that if you would place them then swap them, let's say with with any of the other quarterbacks, would they not be just as effective
sort
in
of.
their system?
Yeah, but that's that. Okay, who I just named are players that can pass. Who I didn't name was Lamar Jackson. Hello, you're not gonna ask him to pass 40 times. Colin Kaepernick, you're not gonna ask him to throw 40 times.
You're not even gonna ask him to join your team. So.
Oh, that was low, but that hurt. That hurt. I felt that in the.
I'm not a owner or a GM.
I know.
I would ask him, but
that was a
it's
sore
not
spot.
my call.
RG3. You.
Oh man, RG3.
When he was on the Washington football team.
Yeah, when he was on the Baylor Bears is the highlight of his career.
Hey, bro, I'm just saying, like, these players that and it took a while for Lamar Jackson because it took him a couple years for the NFL to kind of catch up to him. But all these running quarterbacks, they have a shelf life. And at some point, you got to move on from that. You get somebody like, and I don't know.
Oh,
if
did you say
Jalen
Cam?
Hurts, right, exactly. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to fall into this category, but there's a certain amount of games that the NFL has to see of you. Because you can come in as a replacement, as a last-minute replacement, or as a backup for an injured quarterback, and there's no film on you. There's no game plan, right? And everything that I've seen, I have to kind of like go in contrary of, like, if I game plan for a passing quarterback, right? I know if I have him one-on-one, he's going to pass every time, right? So I understand that before the game starts. And that's his instinct at this point, right? But then in a running quarterback, his first option is not going to throw. And if it's one-on-one, I don't stand back and wait for him to throw the ball. I have to go charge at him, and I have to go because I know he's going to rush instead of throw. So it's a different mindset. And if you've prepared all week for this throwing quarterback and you get a rushing quarterback, your instinct is not going to be the same. So all these running quarterbacks that are coming out, the NFL has to take a couple games, maybe a year or whatever, to catch up to you. And they find your tendencies. They know whether to bum rush you. They know whether to stay in the zone, basically. And that's what happened to Colin Kaepernick. That's what's happening to Lamar Jackson right now. But the enigmas is Russell Westbrook. The enigmas.
Say Russell Westbrook.
Russell Wilson. I keep saying. Anyways, is Patrick Mahomes. And those are the ones that you never understand when they're going to throw, when they're going to pass. And if I even bum rush them, are they going to take the hit or are they going to slide? Kyler Murray fits in that. Deshaun Watson fits in that. You've seen Deshaun Watson. Like,
who's the best pure passer out of those four, do you believe?
Who are we talking about? Like, you got
Just
Patrick
before,
Mahomes,
yeah.
Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray,
And Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Just because he's been in the game so long. He has a championship. He actually has a championship, and
He also has a championship that he could have had if it wasn't
yeah,
for his
exactly.
throw.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a championship in 3 quarters and
Shout out
like
to Malcolm
99%
Butler.
of the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Russell Wilson at this point, Patrick Mahomes has to win one more and he's done. I mean, it's like it's in a bag. Kyler Murray has the potential to me because he's so accurate with his passes to be better than all 3 of them. Deshaun Watson
And Deshaun not even in your
has
top
done
3.
more with less than any of those.
There you go.
You know, like it's just it goes back to that thing with J.J. Watt. Like, how much do you, you know, afford him to go and finish his career with something else? Because let's be honest, B.O.B. Bill O'Brien did not do Deshaun Watson any favors.
Yeah.
You know, I think at some point it got to where it's instead of it being running the best team possible, it became about ego, and he let the best of his ego get to him. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
anyways.
that's I think you're pretty spot on about that. And as far as the Texans go, I mean, that's I feel like the 2 main priorities that we feel, and then I feel like management should know and feel the same way. I was like, man, how do we make it right for JJ? How do we make it right for Deshaun? And Deshaun is going to be obviously going forward what we build around in the future of this franchise. So you got to give him the right pieces and
But it's gonna take a couple years, dude. It
I
really is. It's,
I mean, I'm not saying it won't, but you know, like I'm hoping that they can pull the right moves for that. I mean, they obviously see what they have in him.
but
So
you know, and let's be honest, dude. We haven't really seen college football this year. We don't know who's good and who's not.
I don't see shit.
You know what I mean? Like Trevor Lawrence. We know he's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, name another one.
Couldn't tell you.
You know, we don't have Chris here, our
Yeah.
resident college football expert, but you know, like we don't know. And if I don't know, if you don't know, they may have a better idea, but like seriously, you don't get to see the season play out.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. But anyways, I think that comes full circle to our show and the Texans and Houston Rockets. So I don't know, man. What do you got going on? I love your sweater though.
Oh, thanks. They can't even see it. Shout out Cliff's Cuts.
That is an awesome ass sweater.
Support local.
I wanna say happy birthday to my wife.
Hey.
Actually, Khoa, thank you so much for coming through with those family pictures. As much as I do love the fact that we took those family pictures and we needed them, that was actually a distraction for my wife, because what we had to do is this. We had a surprise birthday party for my wife. And we had to get her out the house. So I had to get her out the house early. And I mean...
Oh, so there was no dinner?
No, there was. Actually, I went to La Griglia.
Oh, so I did go.
Oh, man, that was so bad.
So bad?
So bad. Number 1 rated restaurant in Houston.
Are you sure that it is? I've never even heard of this restaurant. No.
So it's a Italian seafood place, right? Number 1 rated by Travelodge.
Travelodge. Why are you?
Hey, listen, man. That's one of the first ones that comes up.
Okay.
Anyways,
all right.
So I specifically asked them for a nice table. They sat us at the kitchen, right? The first.
So you got kind of okay. That can be cool.
What? No. We weren't in the kitchen. We were the first table outside the door. Right. So then we were packing our food up, and I said, "Can we get that pizza to go?" Sure, yes, of course. I'll be right back. Threw it away. Threw our pizza away.
What?
Our food away, right? Then I asked them, "Do y'all do anything special for your birthday?" Yes, we do. Then they proceeded to bring us the dessert tray, and they say, "We'll put a candle in it." I come and they come with the dessert with the actual birthday cake. So they didn't tell us that the birthday cake was included with their birthday. And I wasn't like trying to sneak one on them. I didn't want a free dessert. I just wanted them to sing happy birthday to my wife. Right? They made us buy a dessert.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, If this was included, I wouldn't have asked for another dessert. And I specifically asked, right? And they're like, no, you got to buy a dessert. Okay, I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And I have no problem with that. But you don't give me 2 desserts when you come sing happy birthday.
John, this is why you got to consult me more when you want to go to
absolutely. I've never
a nice restaurant.
I thought when you said you've never said
when
me
you
wrong.
said the best restaurant in Houston, I thought you already went. Sochi. Didn't you go to Sochi before?
Not Sochi, no.
You never been to Sochi. You know what Sochi is? It's a restaurant by oh my God, I'm blanking on his name, but it's Oaxacan cuisine.
Oh, we did. We went.
So
I told you about that place.
No, you didn't.
No?
You don't know more restaurants than I do, so no, you didn't.
No, I was literally thinking about
no, because I messaged you because I was like, oh man, I've always wanted to I haven't tried it. But
yeah, we went.
I've eaten at one of his older restaurants. I'm blanking on the name of that one too. It's a seafood place, super dope. But that's to me one of the what people will widely regard as like one of the best restaurants in Houston. Another one, Nancy's Hustle. You been in there?
Where?
Nancy's Hustle.
I gotta check it out. No, Nancy's Hustle.
Yeah. Anyway, there's so many you gotta check out. Don't do a nice dinner again without consulting me, because
I wanted to shout out to what was that? What are they? Oh! I wanted to shout out to Cool Dads. Cool Dads have been putting out a couple events, gift wrapping and color box, which is providing Christmas presents for disenfranchised and not as fortunate kids out there. So shout out to Cool Dads. They've been providing and really, really helping out the community. And I've been to a couple functions, and I appreciate what they've done for the city. So shout out to them again, Pod Fam.
Did you see that when I posted my my Spotify Wrapped?
Yeah.
And 4 out of my 5 most listened to were basically us and our fucking Pod Fam and
shots and thoughts,
people that I knew that had started podcasts within the last year, pretty much. Yeah, within the last year and a half.
Andrew Ton, Grown Talk. So
yeah, I mean it's super cool, man, and I hope people keep on doing it, keep just being creative and
100%.
like just take that next step. You feel like you got a good idea, or people want to hear you talk or see you dance or sing or whatever, like
I always say it, man. If you make it, we all make it. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, man, I live vicariously through you guys, and like I said, shout out to Shots and Thoughts podcast and Andrew Ton and Sean and all those Pod Fam guys, Ryan, Chris Rodriguez, man, we waiting on you, bud. You make the show better, so come through. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Sports Shop Podcast. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.